see? Let's sit with the cordless. Okay. Inshallah, if I could request the brothers to come forward. You know, if it's not necessary for people to sit on chairs, it's actually not. It's better not to, especially for these. Obviously, if you need to, that's a different thing. Inshallah, there's more adab, like they said. You know, starting off in the tashahhud position and things like that. Inshallah. So move forward. I've even turned the AC down a bit, so you've got no complaint on that side. And this side, it's been off since you came. So inshallah, mashallah, you've all prayed your Salat al-Tawbah and Salat al-Hajat, inshallah. So without any further ado, inshallah, we'll begin the session. Just before Ustad Sajid comes to complete the actual methodology and then begin the practical session itself, I'd like to invite our honorable guest, Qari Sobat Sahab, to recite a naat, inshallah. So use this naat as to correct your mindset, bring your thoughts in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, think about the message of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and reflect upon the words that are being recited, inshallah.
دوشف صلی اللہ علیہ یا رسول اللہ وسلم علیک یا حبیب اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ یا رسول اللہ وسلم علیک یا حبیب اللہ مر کے اپنی ہی اداؤں پہ امر ہو کہ اپنی ہی اداؤں پہ امر ہو جاؤں ان کی دہلیز کے قابل میں اگر ہو جاؤں ان کی دہلیز کے قابل میں اگر ہو جاؤں زندگی نے تو سمندر میں مجھے پھینک دیا زندگی نے سمندر میں مجھے پھینک دیا، اپنی مٹھی میں وہ جو لے لیں تو گوہر ہو جاؤں، اپنی مٹھی میں وہ لے لیں تو گوہر ہو جاؤں، اس قدر عشق نبی ہو کہ مٹا دوں خود کو، اس قدر عشق نبی ہو کہ مٹا دوں خود کو، اس قدر خوف خدا ہو کہ نڈر ہو جاؤں، اس قدر خوف خدا ہو کہ نڈر ہو جاؤں، ضرب دوں خود کو جو ان سے تو لگوں تعداد، ضرب دوں خود کو جو ان سے تو لگوں تعداد، وہ جو مجھ میں سے نکل جائیں صفر ہو جاؤں، وہ جو مجھ میں سے نکل جائیں صفر ہو جاؤں، ان کی راہوں پہ مجھے اتنا چلانا یا رب، ان کی راہوں پہ مجھے اتنا چلانا یا رب کہ سفر کرتے ہوئے گرد سفر ہو جاؤں، کہ سفر کرتے ہوئے گرد سفر ہو جاؤں، آرزو اب تو مظفر جو کوئی ہے تو یہی ہے، آرزو اب تو مظفر جو کوئی ہے تو یہی ہے، जितना बाकी हूँ, मैं जितना बाकी हूँ, मदीने में बसर हो जाऊँ। मैं जितना बाकी हूँ, मदीने में बसर हो जाऊं। उनकी दहलीज के काबिल मैं अगर हो जाऊं।
MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair, Qari Sahib. Could I kindly invite Ustad Sajid to come, inshallah. It's very important, like we mentioned last time, especially when the presentation is happening, so you can see the screen, and it's better if you face the screen, inshallah, as well, slightly, so you can, inshallah, follow the presentation. Jazakallah. In namaz. So inshallah, make it as though you're sitting in safs, like in the prayer. This side as well, you can come forward, inshallah. Oh, brothers in the back, just fill in the safs as though you're going to. No, just move forward, inshallah.
اجمع بيني وبين سيدنا محمد بن عبد الله في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم صل على سيدنا. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Okay, just a brief recap, because I know everybody is keen to get into the practical, but this is very important that you know how. There's an echo there. Thanks. So, Alhamdulillah, thank you to Brother Gulfam for the reminder of the nafil of prayer of need. So, in that sense, we're ready. And just to recap, I'll just go through the slides quickly. So we will do this, and we will remind you on this when we do the actual practical. So the amals of protection, and the 3 states to enter: humbleness, gratefulness, shukr, and reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the amals of starting: Bismillah, Astaghfar, Durood Sharif, La hawla wa la quwwata. Then the 7 Lataifs. I'll mention the color. If you could collectively mention the location, it just helps with the memorization of them. So if I say red, below the navel. Orange, yellow, green, light blue, dark blue. Excellent. And the white? Okay. And we talked about the preparation of the Lataif. Imagine the name of Allah in white color above your head. As you breathe in through your nose, with your imagination, the light comes down from the top of the head into your body, and the whole body illuminates. And as you breathe out, you're releasing your worries, any sins, anything that's on your mind, stresses. Release, relax your shoulders, and this we will do for 7 to 10 minutes when we do it, practically speaking. And then we explain the difference between the preparation and when you do the individual spiritual centers. So with this one, you have the name of Allah in red, the light is red, and as you breathe in through your nose, just follow the cursor here, you're breathing in, it's coming into the level below the navel. As you breathe out, it comes out from behind. Okay. I'll just quickly go through these. Then the next level is orange, yellow, green, light blue, dark blue, the crown of the head. And the after that, this easiest way to remember this is like the preparation Lataif. So once you've done the individual, again, imagine the light, the name of Allah in white color, and the light is coming from the top of the Lataif down to the bottom, illuminating the body. The key thing here is you're doing this with your breathing. Slowly your body starts to disappear. So body disappears. What is left is the Lataif, the spiritual centers, your breath, and the spirit. And what's the next thing that will disappear? You can say collectively. Okay. Then what is left? So one by one, red upwards. And this is, I think, where we got to on the first session. Okay. So is everybody, so we want to work together. So is everybody with us? Any questions before I go on to the next part? We're happy to move on? Okay. So we came to this part where you, at this stage, before you blow the golden breath, and explain to you what that is, you create the image, the spiritual body, which is the vehicle that you will travel in the spiritual world. And you create that with your imagination. So literally just imagine you're looking at yourself in the mirror. You don't need the detail, just the outline of yourself. Keep breathing like we have been doing. And after a few breaths, the spirit and the conscious will transfer through the blowing of, as you can see in the example, what we call the golden breath. So literally blow your conscious, your spirit, into your spiritual body. Okay, just a reminder, you should get yourself mentally prepared for this. Sometimes a lot of people get hung up here. Did it happen? Has it not happened? When you get into that sort of thought, as a brother was asking in the break, imagine it's happened. It's happened, now move on. Okay? Then once you're in your spiritual body, the next step is to find your teacher. When the ustads refer to the teacher, we are talking about our teacher, the master of this tariqah. These sessions is the spiritual lessons that we're taking from his Hazrat Sahib, Sheikh Ahmad Dabag. So imagine the spiritual. You imagine your teacher and where you find him. It's the spiritual body that you're connecting with, not their physical. They have many spiritual bodies. Again, when you experience this, a lot of this will make sense when you experience this yourselves. And inshallah you will, with Allah's help. And this is important, just let it flow. Sometimes there are many brothers here who've been trying, and they try too hard. Just let it flow, don't think too much about it, let it flow. And then follow your teacher where the journey takes you, and those who have had experience in this before, the teacher, you tend to follow them to the Grand Master. This is the Mizar of Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Dabag, rahimahullah. And this is imagery just to help you with your focus and the imagination. And this is, you can travel to the Green Dome. Imagine your teacher is with you all the time. Follow them as they will guide you and show you around. Then the Holy Kaaba. I won't go into details what you do here, because this is the, I know you're keen to move on to the practical session, and so are we. This is just the adabs of coming back. Before you come back, ask the permission from the teacher, send your salutations. then you return, then you open your eyes. So once you have mastered the order, exercise, methodology, transfer of the spirit, then the teacher will guide you further and take you to other realms of the unseen, which the ustads briefly touched upon. Okay? So the objective we have here, at least till Monday night, is to get you to see and taste in the spiritual world. So at this level, this is where we want to, inshallah, this is one of the results we want to get you to. So we're not going into detail about the other realms. So, but the key to do that is the methodology we have gone through. And these are the beginner goes through different stages. This is quite important. So have a look at this. Because sometimes you expect things to happen too quickly, or suddenly, again, the example of riding a bike, you have to push the pedals, you have to experience, feel it, before you can automatically control even a simple bicycle. So get familiar with the order. Verbal clarity. So these are the different stages of realization one will go through. Completing the process with imagination, not seeing but feeling that one is there. Imagination becomes clearer gradually. Imagination becomes colorful. Seems like a picture created by the mind. Seems like a vague dream. Feels like a clear dream. It's like watching a film. Then a three-dimensional image. Then scenes and things begin happening beyond one's control. Now you're going into the bit that's out of your control, the spiritual. Natural clarity, same as reality. After the experience, a person feels the spirit is still there. So some people who know how and do the spiritual salah, even after salah, if they've been praying in Masjid Nabawi, even in olden times, remember the spirit, time or space is beyond in the spiritual world. So you can travel back in time very easily to the old Masjid Nabawi. But again, we'll go into more detail. Or you will experience this yourself. Even if the eyes are open, still a person is seeing the realities of the unseen. The state is experienced even when not intended. It happens more frequently. A person transfers just with intention. So when you get competent in this, you do not need to go through all the Lataif exercises. Just by the mere intention, one can enter into the spiritual world. Continuously witnessing this world and the unseen world at the same time. Okay? Now the teacher, keep referring to the teacher because the fez, this is not like any other course. Continuous fez is coming from your teacher, our Hazrat Sahib. This is responsibility of the teacher and the seeker. So we're just going to go through some of those. In this spiritual journey, there are several things which the teacher provides, but only one is required from the seeker, from the teacher. Permission. The fact that you've all expressed an interest in coming to this halvat and been accepted, that's consider that as permission from your teacher. The methodology, the guidance, spiritual help, spiritual company, removing obstacles, interpret the vision or feelings. The teachers touched on this. Taking the seeker's soul to the stations, presenting him to the prophetic presence, presenting him to the divine presence. This is your responsibility. What do you think your responsibility is? Anybody? MashaAllah. Anybody else? Okay. Anybody else? Trust in the teacher. MashaAllah. Do have a mic, please. Yes, there is. To learn and train in the methodology to transfer the spirit to the spiritual body and releasing from the physical. So all of you are correct to a certain extent. Okay? So your responsibility here is the methodology we've gone through to learn and train in it and come out of your physical and enter your spiritual body, find your teacher. I just run through this quickly so we can get into the summary. You can read some of this, the false assumptions, assuming that you're already qualified, whereas the proper mirage is done after the third stage. This is again what the two blessed Ustads been doing most of the day, is emphasizing the importance of the preconditions. Purification of the body, the mind, the heart and the soul. The practical aspect of that is those 5 amals that you've made firm intentions to start. Haram rizq, negative dealings with creation, not submitting to the teacher. And it gives you an example here, asking for mashra and then coming up with other things. This cuts the relationship. Bad opinion, intentional bad thoughts of the teacher, not giving priority to instructions, not serious, giving little value. Again, this is not like, just again repeating what was said earlier, this is not like any other course. The continuous flow of affairs is coming from the teacher. Again, transferring, expecting it to happen quickly, being impatient and easily frustrated. Relax, let things flow. Do your part, reliance on Allah, and things will happen. Negative thinking, not being pleased with Allah's will under every circumstance, giving up easy, laziness, lack of purification, preference to nafil over fried, hypocrisy. So just a reminder, so when we do this practically, there should be nobody who cannot give some feedback. And by feedback, again, as the teacher mentioned as well, again, these things can happen at thought level and imagination level, but we don't want you to be saying, I think I saw this, or I think it's from my subconscious, or I think this came. Just mention your state. Is that clear? This is very important. This can become a blockage. So when you give feedback, and from experience, those who, don't be shy in this, those who give feedback, they do progress quite quickly. First is letting it out, whether they get some feedback from it directly or not, the fact that they've mentioned it, it becomes more real. Okay? And again, I said, practice these two, then the bit that's not in your control, which will happen automatically, is the spiritual level. So we just want to go to the summary. Again, we have got handouts. We'll give them to you after the practical session. But just to recap, actually you can help me with this. What's the first one? Intention after this. Keeping the 3 keys in mind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with me, seeing me, hearing me. So I'm going to go through this fairly quickly so we can get on with the practical. Prayer of need, amals of protection, 3 states, then the amals to begin, know the order, preparation of the Lataif and the emotional release. Then this is the breathing exercises. The first one was the preparation, then the other one was focusing on each Lataif from red to the white. The vertical column cleansing, which is, think of that as similar to this one in regards to the breathing and the imagination. But what's happening here is that the body is disappearing now as you're breathing. The spiritual centers, the energy centers start to disappear. Then you get ready for the golden breath, create the spiritual body. Again, we will talk you through this as we do the practical sessions with your eyes closed. The golden breath. Find the teacher and let the journey begin. Again, we keep coming back to this. So it embeds in your head, this is in your control, and mention your state at this level. Alhamdulillah, if this is happening, then you mention. But this is now the end of the presentation. So before we go to the practical side, any questions? Brother Gulfan, if you could have the mic. Really on the methodology, anything that anybody is confused about, then we can clear before we go into doing this for life. MashaAllah. So are you trying to say I did a good job? Inshallah. There's a little bit of competition going between the trainers, so I'm expecting you all to do well on the first session. You're joking. There's going to be ups and downs. Yeah, there's ups and downs. So inshallah, the aim is Monday night. Okay, but it's as Allah wills. But with permission, we'll go into practice. So you can stand up, bring some blood back into your legs.
Just a few minutes, just to don't worry. So you just like a brief.
Sorry, that's the voice from you, Uncle. Inshallah, stretch your legs for a minute or so. But what we're going to do after that, inshallah, those who can, so it'll make it easier, they can form a semicircle facing the blessed picture Mubarak, inshallah, and then each row after, inshallah, behind that row. So give yourself another minute if you want, inshallah. But let's have a nice, neat semicircle, inshallah. Yeah, if you can move these clothes, please. Okay, if I could, inshallah, request the ustads to come forward as well, please. Just leave that space area. Yeah. The next row behind, please, inshallah. Yeah, you find that, inshallah. Professor Muhammad sir? Yeah. Okay, inshallah. Just let Professor Sahib sit. Ji. Basically, there should be no distractions now, so if everybody can be in their seats, inshallah. Because you have to really focus for this now, inshallah. Jazakallah. Brother Ilyas? दो लाइटें बंद करते हो जी साइड नहीं Could I kindly request Ustad Osman if they here as well, if they could come to the front? Jazakallah.
Just as we are waiting to start, just keep the three keys in mind. Allah is with me, hearing me and seeing me. Like you said, we can start in the position that we are, the Attahiyatu position. As you make your intentions, the pleasure of Allah, keep those three keys in mind. And start in this position, and then you can get comfortable. Allah is with me, seeing me and hearing me. We start with the amals of protection. Very important when you enter the spiritual world from shaitanic interference. Surah Fatiha once. Ayatul Kursi once. Three kuls in order. Kulul Ahad, Kulul Falaq, Kulul Nas. Three sets of these. Then when you're done, blow in your hands, rub over your head and your body. we're going to go into the 3 muraqabas. One of humbleness. As we already mentioned examples, I want this to be personal to you. So I'm not going to give an example. Think of something that makes you humble. Ponder on that and go into that muraqabah. Keep your eyes closed for this one. Focus on something that makes you humble. Keeping your eyes closed. Now go into a state of shukr. Shukr, gratefulness. What a blessing it is to even be here sitting in the remembrance of Allah. Thank you, Allah, for even giving us an opportunity to increase our level of yaqeen. Now bring yourself into a state of reliance. Rely on Allah. Allah is through your grace and mercy, through your permission that we can travel towards you, Allah. Allah, it is you who we want. Allah, for we can't travel, but if your permission and your izn, all is possible, Allah. Allah, we rely on you. We will try, but our reliance is in you, Allah. Keep the eyes closed. Refresh the 3 keys. Allah's with me, seeing me and hearing me. Now we're going to start the initiation amals, the starting amals. So Bismillah 1 times. Bismillah. 3 times Astaghfar. Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah. Durood Sharif 3 times. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah 3 times. Now as you refresh the three keys, Allah's with me, seeing me, hearing me. Imagine the name of Allah above your head, above this majlis, above your head is the name of Allah, the beautiful name of Allah in white color. As you keep refreshing the three keys, imagine the name of Allah is illuminating more and more. See the nur gathering, it is coming towards the top of your head. I want you to breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe in, the light enters into your head and down your body. It's illuminating your whole body. And as you breathe out, the light comes out from your mouth, and with that it's removing any worries, any stresses, any tensions. And even when I go silent, you carry on with this exercise. Relax your shoulders, relax yourselves. Imagine the name of Allah is in white color. As you breathe in, the light enters from your head into your body, throughout your whole body. As you breathe out, you release any tensions, sins, darkness. Breathe in through your nose. The light from the name of Allah is in white color, comes through the top of your head, into your body, throughout your whole body. As you breathe out, you're releasing stress, tension, sins. Release it. Give it to Allah, Allah. Next, when I say Bismillah, I'm going to go silent. And you continue with this breathing exercise with the imagination. Bismillah. Don't neglect the breathing. Breathe in long, deep breath from your nose. And as you breathe in, the light is entering throughout your whole body. And as you breathe out, to get the breath out, you need to take a nice, long, deep breath in. The breath fills your lungs, the light is filling your body. refresh in the name of Allah. Breathe through your nose, slow, long breath. Refresh the light coming in from the top of your head from the name of Allah, illuminating the whole body, which is stronger than it was before. As you breathe out, your body, your mind relaxes. You can literally feel the worries, the tensions leave you. As you refresh, Allah is with me, seeing me and hearing me. Now imagine the name of Allah that was in white color is now in red. As you refresh, Allah is with me, seeing me, hearing me. Now you see the name of Allah is in red color. Now this time, when you breathe in through your nose, imagine the name of Allah is in red. The light emanating is red and is linked to your red spiritual center, which is below the navel. As you breathe in through your nose, the light in red color comes from in front of you, down to the location of the spiritual center, which is below the navel, enters from the front. As you breathe out, it exits from behind. Now you begin this now. Name of Allah in red. As you breathe in through your nose, the light from Allah's name is coming in the red color, coming in front of you through the red spiritual center, which is located below the navel. As you breathe out, it exits from behind. And again, slow, long breaths. refresh the three keys again. As you refresh, Allah's with me, seeing me and hearing me. Imagine the name of Allah is now in orange color. This is linked to the orange Lataif spiritual center at the navel level. Again, same methodology, breathe through your nose, but this time the name of Allah is in orange, and the light coming from in front of you from the name of Allah is in orange color. As you breathe in, it comes from in front of you, enters your navel area, linked to the orange spiritual center there. As you breathe out, it exits from behind. Again, long, slow breaths. Refresh. Allah's with me, seeing me and hearing me. With that, the name of Allah is in orange color. Continue breathing through your nose. As you do, as you breathe in, imagine the light coming from the name of Allah in orange color, coming in front of you, entering the orange spiritual center at your navel. As you breathe out, it exits from behind. Some of you can see the Lataif itself, the spiritual center, get energized and more cleansed as you do this. as you refresh, Allah's with me, seeing me and hearing me. You see the name of Allah in yellow color. It's linked to the spiritual center, the level of the stomach. Again, same procedure. Bring the presence of Allah and imagine the name of Allah in yellow color. As you breathe in through your nose, the light comes from the name of Allah in yellow color. The yellow nur enters the stomach from the front and exits from behind as you breathe out. And again, keep the presence. Take long, deep, slow breaths. As you refresh, Allah's with me, seeing me, hearing me. Imagine the name Allah is now in green color. It's linked to the spiritual center at the chest, level of the heart. And again, breathing through your nose. Imagine the name of Allah is in green. As you breathe in, the green nur comes from the name of Allah, enters the front of your chest, and as you breathe out, exits from behind your chest, cleansing the green spiritual center. as you refresh the three keys now, Allah's with me, seeing me, hearing me. Now you imagine the name of Allah is in light blue color, linked to the spiritual center at the level of the throat. Level of the throat, light blue. As you breathe in, the nur is in light blue color, coming from the name of Allah, entering from the front of your throat as you breathe out, releasing as it goes through your neck, your throat, releases from the back of your throat. Again, refresh yourself, bring that presence of Allah. Light blue throat. Slow, long breaths. As you refresh the three keys, now imagine the name Allah is in dark blue, like indigo color, dark blue. Bring your level of concentration up now. Increased focus now. Name of Allah in dark blue. This is at the level of the Lataif, the spiritual center at the forehead. Bring back your level of focus. As you breathe in, see the illuminating light from the name of Allah in dark blue. The dark blue nur is coming from the front of your forehead. Intense light, nur coming into your forehead as you breathe out through your brain and releases from the back of your head. Bring the stronger presence of the name of Allah. It's in dark blue color. As you breathe in, the dark blue nur enters from the front of your forehead, through your mind, releasing from behind your brain. You can see the spiritual center getting energized with every breath that you take and release. Like it's blasting through all the blockages, energizing. Feel the nur hitting the forehead as you breathe in. It's purpose and energizing as you breathe out. as you refresh, Allah's with me, seeing me, hearing me. Imagine the name of Allah is in white color. Now you're linking, cleansing the white spiritual center, which is just above your head, the level of the crown of your head. As you breathe in, the white light from the name of Allah enters the front, and as you breathe out, releases from behind, just above your head. Bring that stronger presence and focus as you cleanse the white Lataif, the crown of your head. White. refresh the presence. Allah's with me, seeing me, hearing me. Keep the imagination, the name of Allah is in white color. This time as you breathe in, be similar to as we did the preparation. The light from the name of Allah enters from the top of your head, the top Lataif. As you breathe in, it enters through the whole body, through all the Lataifs, through the whole body. As you breathe out, the light illuminates more and more throughout the whole body. So keep the presence. The name of Allah is in white color. As you breathe in, the light comes from the name of Allah, from the top of your head all the way down, and illuminates the whole body. As you breathe out, more and more the body illuminates, and with each breath your whole body is getting lighter and lighter. Long deep breath. Refresh your focus now. Every breath, the body is getting lighter, and it starts to disintegrate, disappear. Keep the light coming from the top of the white Lataif, from the top of your head all the way to the bottom. Like a vertical column illuminating the body. All the Lataifs energizing, mixing in like a rainbow. Your body's disappeared, just your spirit, your breath and the Lataifs that you see. With the name of Allah above you. The body is completely disappeared. More and more the Lataifs energized. Now with the next breath, the lead spiritual center Lataif disappears. Now the orange disappears. The yellow's gone. Green's disappeared. Light blue has disappeared. Dark blue has disappeared. And the white has disappeared. Keep the presence of the name of Allah is in white. Have your breath, your spirit. All else has disappeared. Create with the imagination a mirror copy of yourself. Your spiritual body is like looking through the mirror. Just the outline of yourself in front of you. Like you would see yourself in a mirror. Keep your eyes closed. With the imagination, you see your spiritual self in front of you and is facing you. Keep that breath. Make the spiritual body image clearer in your mind. Now get ready to take the golden breath in your own time. When you're ready, will take such a breath that your spiritual consciousness comes out from your mouth. With that breath, it enters your spiritual body, which is in front of you. Those that have done that, you can wait for the others and keep in the presence of Allah. Those that haven't, now's the time to take your golden breath. Those who are unsure, imagine you are now in your spiritual body. You are all in your spiritual body. Those that have doubts, imagine now, remove the doubts and imagine you are in your spiritual body. And we draw our intentions towards our teacher. But as we look around, we see many angels entering this majlis. More and more are coming to make intentions for a teacher. See the spiritual body of our teacher coming down the stairs. They come, enter the majlis and they sit with us. As if we want to look up at our teacher and mention the spiritual awe of the teacher. Admonishes me against doing that and says to focus, take them to the great Ummi. We go to the great Ummi, Sayyidina Abdul Aziz the Baghri Mullah. We are all sitting in front of our teacher. See more and more angels coming. They're excited. See the roof disappear. We can see the skies. We can see the heavens full of light of angels coming, filling up all the spaces here. I want to be in the company of this first spiritual travel. See the teacher as they look up, see a ship forming. It's a ship like a ship in the olden times that normally travels on water, but this is now floating in the sky. The teacher mentions the captain of this ship that will take us to the blessed city of Faz in Morocco. Will be Professor Muhammad. As the teacher mentions Professor Muhammad, wishes his name, his spirit is in awe and surprised, but immediately stands up to attention. Honor us, they say to Professor Muhammad, for it's like they refer him to the custodian of Fez. His spirit immediately climbs up the ladder, like a rope-like ladder that is fallen from the ship which is floating above us. Takes control of the steering, and one by one we all climb up. The teacher waits behind, and there are a few that are finding it difficult. See the teacher gather them, then take them up to the ship themselves. As we all sit in, immediately the ship goes higher and higher, at the same time traveling over lands and oceans, the seas, towards the city of Faz. We're all at the top deck, seeing the scenery around us, see many angels, again many still coming to accompany us on this journey. Before we know it, we are now at the blessed city of Fez. We go over the old city towards the Mizar of Sayyid Abdul Aziz the Bagh, Rahimahullah, just outside. We climb down the rope-like ladder and we wait outside. We wait as the teacher brings the last of us down and places their souls in front of the door of the Mazar. We wait patiently. We follow the steps of our teacher as they gently, respectfully come towards the Mazar of Sayyid Abdul Aziz the Bagh Rahimahullah. As they walk towards the doors automatically open and we follow. And as we enter in, it's like we enter a garden. And in the garden there is a tree, and under the tree is the blessed personality of Sayyid Abdul Aziz the Bagh Rahimahullah. They welcome us with a beautiful, beautiful smile as they embrace the teacher and ask them to sit down. They embrace each and every one of us, kissing us on the forehead. With that kiss on the forehead, feel a light of coolness enter us, enter our mind and enter our heart. As we sit in, and as they kiss the forehead of the last one of us, say, welcome, welcome, O ashiqs, O lovers of the Prophet. As they say that, some of our spirits are already in tears. O seekers of the Prophet, O lovers who want the close proximity of Allah's beloved, welcome. Welcome. Some of you, it's your first time to travel and experience. I will give some advice for you now and for your onward journey. First, relax yourselves. Some of you are beating yourselves up whether you did the exercises properly or not. Relax yourself and come into the presence here, for you are here. Know, O seekers of the Prophet, you are all blessed to be here in the presence of your blessed teacher, Ahmad, referring to our teacher, Hazrat. For your access is through him. Shortcuts that you are thinking in your mind will only delay your progress. As if they're looking at us all with their gaze, and know what's in our hearts and minds. Some of you are thinking, if the teacher is such a great master, why do they not reveal their own experiences? Oh, foolish ones. You do not realize what you have in front of you. When you have such a master, Allah is blessed with the power to make his disciples, the seekers, Ummi, who are ordinary people amongst you. What is the need for someone who is able to make his disciples, Ummis, to reveal his own experiences? For what you see around you and amongst you is more powerful, particularly for those who reflect. He is hidden physically in this world. Your teacher is a hidden entity for those who can experience and enter the spiritual world. Even though he wishes so, he cannot be hidden. The realities are shown to those who can see. Don't be foolish. Be grateful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made you cross paths with the teacher. For following and copying is easier. Now they take the trainers aside and practically teaching them and showing them with the light, the nur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the teacher. As if the blockages are shown, the Lataifs, the mental. Give advice generally to begin with. Some of the obstacles that were highlighted at the beginning of this retreat, some of the issues spiritually shown the intentions to refrain from the sins or ask forgiveness. Some of the intentions are very weak and the blockages remain. And as some of the types, the red, yellow, the lower ones in particular, those whose mothers are upset with them, ask them for your forgiveness. Ask them for forgiveness. Do not neglect your mothers. Those blockages with Allah and the Prophet, with good firm intention and tawbah, and they can be cleared. But your dealings with creation, where you have held people's money or defrauded even your own brothers and sisters, put that right. for even those who have experiences throughout this, when you go back and you don't correct these, they will become a very strong blockage in your progress to Allah and His beloved. Then we see Nabi is the Bahagari Mullah consulting with the spirit of our teacher. They mentioned to us, as some of you have a strong imagination and travelled and seen the holy Kaaba, we will now travel there. We follow the example of a teacher as he asks permission, gives salams to Sayyidina Abdul Aziz the Baghri Mullah. And they take permission and we do the same and we follow. As we step outside the Mazar, there's a line of camels awaiting us. There's a white one which comes and kneels at the feet of the teacher. The teacher embarks on it. And we do the same as we step forward. There are camels that kneel down towards us and we sit on them. There's still a few of us who are finding difficulty. I see the teacher helps them up onto their camel. As if they instruct the lead camel to continue, they will come from behind with the ones that are having difficulty. And as the camels, all the camels take one step, we enter Misr, Egypt. And it's as if the teacher has purposely stopped here to honor somebody who's amongst us who has some connections to Egypt. Then at the next step the camel takes, we enter the city of Makkah. But this is not the modern, it is not, as we look around, it is from the time of the Ottomans, beautiful pillars around near where the Kaaba is, but we're not entering yet. We have dismounted the camels and we're following the teacher. The teacher mentions, keep your eyes, lower your gaze, follow my footsteps. As you walk towards the Kaaba, keep your eyes down, do not look at the Kaaba. So we follow some steps, go down some steps. We don't look up, our eyes are lowered, but we can feel that we are now in the courtyard of where the Kaaba is and where the people are doing tawaf, but our eyes are lowered. Teacher now physically positions all of us in front of, side by side, and reminds us to keep our eyes lowered. Then they mention on this signal, when they mention to look up, keep your eyes lowered for now, but when they mention to look up at the Kaaba, and with your first sight, then you are everybody to themselves, they make a dua, a prayer. Whatever they want to pray is personal. Keep your eyes lowered. Teachers mentions to get ready now. Have a think about what you want to pray. Get ready to visualize. give us permission to now raise our eyes, look up towards the Kaaba. Always stay silent while you make your dua. Whatever you want to pray for, look up towards the Kaaba. As you take your first side, pray. Teacher indicates to follow them as we walk towards. They mentioned to get ready, we will do tawaf of the Kaaba. Make your intentions as we're walking towards the black stone. Make your intentions for tawaf. As we come up towards the black stone, we see everything is cleared. It is easy for us to walk up to the black stone. We follow the teacher as they make intentions. They come, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, they kiss the black stone. We follow suit as they kiss the black stone. They immediately start to do the tawaf as if they're doing a fast jog. They mention for you to experience as well tawaf of the Kaaba. And with the imagination of some of you already been here before, you can experience. As we do circuit 1, kiss the black stone again as we go into our circuit 2, as if our spirits are now entering at a higher level, a Kaaba in the sky. Black stone is not black here. It's like a white pearl color. I mentioned for now we will complete the tawaf here. Third circuit done. Fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. As we come back down to the Kaaba on the earth. Some of us are experiencing many other souls doing tawaf. We are in awe and just watching the personalities. But then we bring back our focus to the teacher. They are ready at the Maqam Ibrahim, praying the Nafil. We follow and pray behind them. Sitting now in front of the Kaaba, just looking and gazing, and we are following, contemplating. In front of us is the golden door of the door of the Kaaba. See our hearts illuminating with the name of Allah. The Allah reaches out to the Kaaba and imprints the name Allah on the Kaaba and bounces back into our hearts with every heartbeat, the name of Allah from our heart hits the golden door, and it comes back. And as we do this in our hearts, we are saying Allah, Allah. The teacher mentions that to practice this when you travel on your own here. For now we will not go any further, but the teacher takes us to it's like we go back in time now, to the old, like an old well, of the well of Zamzam. It's like a leather pouch, like a leather type pouch type bucket. The teacher themselves is taking the water out for us, and we line up and we drink from their hands. That quenches such a thirst and illuminates all our spiritual body and our insides. As the last one of us drinks from the hand of our teacher, given permission, give Islam's Lataif given permission to come back. You slowly start to come back. Our souls are now just coming back. They come via Fez, getting permission from Fez. We come back to this Zavia. We have permission now to slowly open our eyes. So we'll do a feedback session shortly. If you could all kindly stand up and just bring the blood back to our legs. This part is very important to give feedback. So, Brother Gulfan, you have the mic. So we'll ask if anybody wants to give feedback first, they can raise their hands. Otherwise, we will choose. Brother Gulfan, just at the back.
Bismillah, sallallahu ala Rasulullah. A couple of things struck me for my journey. One was that everyone that loves me came with me, even pets. So there were many with me. And then the other thing that struck me was that Sayyidina, our teacher, kept comforting me that not to worry, and that my time will come, and he just kept comforting me.
MashaAllah. If you could have the brother's name, and just so we get familiar. So I couldn't see the brother.
Brother Mustafa.
Mustafa, MashaAllah. From Canada.
Ji.
Yes.
MashaAllah. So, anybody want to mention anything? Or?
So this you experienced during the Lataif or after the transfer, Brother Mustafa? All after the transfer, so mashallah. Have you practicing this before the first time in this manner?
Partial. I haven't fully practiced it. Had a brief practicing before.
So this is like your first experience. This is your first experience of doing it fully.
Yes, of doing it fully. Yes.
So mashallah, we say congratulations that mashallah in your first instance you managed to have an experience and travel with the teacher. So that's good, mashallah. How did you feel when you experienced it, when you were going through? Out of the three, at least the two, were you able to fully submerge and go through the flow?
Yes.
MashaAllah. That's good. So this is a good example and encouragement that our dear brother Sidi Mustafa from Canada, he's come and joined us, and in one sense for the first time he participated and instantly he had some experience. So first of all, that gives encouragement for all the other brothers and so on who are doing for a while or about to start today, that look, everyone, so the space and time is not limited. The brother had come all thousands of miles across the ocean and participating with us, and he's also, mashallah, have experienced and seen and witnessed and tasted to an extent. But this is, inshallah, to Brother Mustafa, inshallah, it's just the beginning, inshallah. As we go to session, inshallah, if you focus more, many things will be unravel in front of you, inshallah, as well.
Jazakumullah khairan.
Anything else you'd like to say? Anything else you'd like to add on this?
No, I don't think so. I did practice this with a brother, but not fully. So the other day before I came.
Right, okay.
But yeah, Jazakumullah khairan.
It's important that we've done our talking part for the last 25 hours. So this is your turn. Because obviously you have signed up to this. You want to benefit. Now if you're shy and you're hoping that you're going to see us one-to-one, I'm just saying we are 80 of us here. What if you don't get to see one-to-one? Do not be hopeless by that. But what I'm saying is, the point of saying this is that avail this opportunity now. Mention, inshallah. If you think it's too personal, you can generalize and mention as well, inshallah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So before the transfer during the Lataif, I was able to escape my body. So I kept having visions outside of my body, as if my consciousness was drifting out. So I kept trying to focus and followed the instructor to continue to follow the Lataifs. My consciousness did escape my body, and then I moved towards the back of the room, and I could see the entire room and everyone connecting to the name of Allah Azza wa Jal, and going through the Lataif, and this kept happening throughout the entire process of cleansing. So almost had to force my consciousness back into my body to follow. Then I was able to transfer and follow the majority of the journey. There was a specific point where it slightly diverged when it came to when there were assertions made to the teacher to suggest that they don't share their visions. These came in the forms of dark arrows towards the teacher, and I jumped in the way to block them with my arm and like a shield. I also became enraged at those who made these assertions to the teacher. And Shaykh Ahmed Dabagh grabbed me by my arm and sat me beside them and calmed me down, apart from that, the rest of the journey I followed through.
And let me just ask you a question. When you say you kind of left your body, could you explain that part? In terms of that, you want to take your own journey, or?
No. Oh no! So it just happened automatically. So
Sorry, can you slightly put your mic down?
sorry, yeah, it just happened automatically. So I'll just have like it's like my consciousness would leave my body and then move around me, and then I'd force it back in. But yeah, it was happening automatically during the cleansing Lataifs.
Okay.
That's the first time that's happened.
If you think that is happening specifically to you, and you think you're leaving, and maybe the body, because you've been doing it for a while, I believe, that is already used to, accustomed to many of these practices, and used to take a flight and continue the journey. As long as it's a properly guided journey, then you can let yourself fly and go, inshallah, in the next session as well. Like I said, the crucial thing is that if your teacher's with you, then you can just carry on. You don't have to stay within the whole gathering, so to speak, inshallah.
Yeah, just to add.
That happens, inshallah, yeah.
Just to add, when I transfer and try to picture my body, I always see the teacher as opposed to my own body. So all the transfer is always in the teacher.
Inshallah. But yeah, apart from that, these are the experience what you said. It's natural. Certain attachment of the teacher and so on. Then the yaqeen within that increases, and the love and so on. And you want to do something because you yourself are now convinced in this path and way, because you've experienced many times, you've tasted it, and for you to now, someone who come new, they bring their own kind of questions, and what for you is very obvious, but they have to go to the emotion and understand and accept and become quite strong and have full conviction in this as well, inshallah. So this will come part of your understanding, inshallah, as well.
Abdul Basit Hadith.
Bismillah. When we reach the stage of transferring into a spiritual body, I'm not sure if I managed to do that.
Explain what happened.
Well, I tried to make myself a spirit body, as we saw in the presentation. I didn't manage to do that. I think I didn't manage to do that. But just to continue participating, I followed my imagination during the entire story of Brother Sajid.
So when you say imagination, you mean you could see? So mention your state.
Yeah, so when I say imagination, I mean that I made up my imagination based on what I heard you saying.
So you were able to follow the pictures and details.
Yes, like you talked about the vessel. So I imagined the vessel being in the sky and we are climbing up, etc.
Okay, so
I'm not sure if I had any kind of experience.
So again, as we mentioned before, mention as you feel it and you experience it, rather than I think I imagine this, or like you saying you're mentioning that you're able to follow the detail and you're able to go. So mention this is how it begins.
Yeah, so I went through the Lataif, which was nice to go through because it was a process of cleansing. When I had to transfer into the spirit body, I think that didn't happen. I had difficulties with my body because in the sitting, etc. So this might have influenced my overall workout. When you went into the spiritual realm, when the teacher joined us, etc. I think at that time I didn't connect with the teacher. I was trying to find him, but there was no connection coming. So I continued to use my imagination that I am connected with him. And so I basically tried to continue with you guys. And so when we went from with the vessel to Fez, and then at the Blessed Mazar, and then from there to Kaaba, and then to the Heavenly Kaaba, I just followed that. That's right.
You yourself the first time or before?
First time.
Can I just say, and obviously Ustad will mention as well, that mashallah, you've come from Dubai yourself and sat here and come here now. So it's taking you 8 hours to travel on plane. Just to make you understand, all this time you sat on the plane on the way to here, have you ever even thought about what you just said? So that says to me that, yes, the agency through which is your mind, you actually comprehended what's happening. But really, it's part of the sitting and the gathering and the blessing of the teacher and mashayikh. You were part of the journey as a blessing. Obviously, you have to use your because the mind and the brain, it's like a computer, you understand quite well. When anything happens, the program and so on, it's behind the scene, which normally you wouldn't understand. But to make this understand, it comes on the screen in a certain format, which is user-friendly. Now, when I read it, I'm not necessarily that I'm become expert in programming, just because I can see what's on the screen. I cannot claim that I'm a programmer now because I can read what's on the screen. I can imagine these things, all that what's happening. Because the program is done in such a way that me as an observer on the screen makes sense. I can decipher what's on the screen. So likewise, because mashallah to the blessing, they sat in the gathering and went through the whole process as part of the journey. Like, in the gathering when, even when there's in the gathering zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that even someone sits there without the intention of it, he still gets forgiven and reward because of that part of the blessing of gathering as well. So part of that journey, this is what you experience, be it at the imagination level. So that's correct what you said, the imagination level. But just think that how many hours you spent sat around, have you had this experience on your own before? If it was your own self, subconscious thinking, the answer would be no, correct? Yeah? So that shows that you actually had an experience at whatever level is mentioned, for example, be it in a thought level or in the imagination level. So it is an experience, mashallah, to an extent. Only thing now you have to do, as you do it more frequently in the sessions and properly learn how to do it, then you'll see how it becomes more or over like an opening or an experience for you, inshallah.
So, mashallah, brother mentioned actually a very important point in what you mentioned, and that was the spiritual connection with one's teacher. So the question is, how do I strengthen the spiritual connection with the teacher in the spiritual world and in this physical world? And one of the simplest ways that you can practice this now and every day going forward is simply to think about them. Think about them regularly, frequently, and think of course, one negative thought towards one's teacher can cut that spiritual relationship. If it's intentional. Even if it's unintentional, but they entertain it, that can cut it. Because you're not liable for unintentional thoughts. But one intentional negative thought can cut that. This is why you have to be so aware of your own mind. That's one of the reasons. What's going on in your mind. There's a saying that don't allow your mind to be rent-free. To be rent-free. And what it means is, every thought that comes into your mind, make sure it pays you. What does that mean? It means make sure it benefits you. Every thought that comes to your mind should benefit you. If it doesn't benefit you, divert away from it. So any thought that comes to your mind, you filter it. Is this beneficial? Is this not beneficial? Keep it or don't keep it. And every thought regarding one's teacher should always be positive and beneficial, and that will develop the spiritual relationship, because the thoughts are in your control. They're in your control. And that spiritual relationship, to an extent, that's not in your control. But this thought is what develops that, and you increase it. And the more you think of them, the stronger it becomes. And this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions this in the Holy Quran, where Allah says that, remember me and I will remember you. So the mashayikh are the ones that take you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you remember them, they remember you as well. In this way, that their relationship, that spiritual connection is developed. So that's the one simple way. Think about the mashayikh daily, regularly, frequently, and do you know that how often they think about you? This is the question. How often do the mashayikh think about you? They actually pray for their students every single day, probably multiple times in a day. And when the special du'as are the opportunities for special du'as, they forget about themselves. Sometimes they forget their family and they pray for their students and their followers. So that's how selfless they are. They don't think of themselves, they're always thinking about everyone else. And really we should return that in this same way. But the mashayikh don't need our du'as as such. The way to give back is to help the people outside. That's the way to give back. So inshallah, a very good point, mashallah, jazakallah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Just to continue about the one's attitude towards one's teacher, I was following the instructions of Brother Sajid, and at a certain time, someone showed up, Moroccan, and we were in Fez, and I knew he has a negative attitude towards the teacher behind their back, but when they are there, they come along, they are very nice to the teacher, and so. And then I left the group, and I went and I turned them, himself and his brother, I turned them out, right, physically and with force. The teacher, before, because I know they are very, very compassionate. In fact, I communicated this to them once, and I said that next time I will in fact intervene physically. But in fact, it was done in the spiritual world. I knew they had in fact a certain negative attitude, and then I went and turned them out. In fact, and this was not in the program. This was not even in the instructions. Something else, which means that this is something which is not in my. It was not in my control. It was not my imagination, because my imagination, if it were imagination, it was supposed to be following the instructor. But this is something happened, in fact, outside the. Assalamu alaikum.
This is Professor from Fez, mashallah.
I think it's quite a lot of people, so we want to quickly go through the. Like I said, we don't want to say too much. All I do is another lecture again. Obviously, brothers can. So, the brothers, just put your hand up because it's quite dim lights. We can't see all the hands. So after there's a brother here afterwards as well.
Try and get the new brothers as well.
Sure, that's fine.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, I was able to follow Brother Sajid's instructions, all the Lataif, and I was seeing all those colors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you're changing the all the colors. And then after that, when the transfer happened, and then we saw our teacher come in the masjid, and all the angels filled the hall in this masjid. And then after that, Brother Sajid mentioned about the ship. So we all went in the ship, and then after that we went to Sayyidina Abdul Dabbaq Rahmatullahi Madar Sharif, and then we were all waiting outside, and then slowly Sayyidina Abdul Dabbaq Rahmatullahi was shaking hand with all of us, and then he gave nasihat, Sajid mentioned, and then after that we went to the Makkah Sharif, and then we were outside the gate of the Kaaba Sharif. And then after that the gate opened, and then full of light. Then we went inside, and then we prayed namaz behind the teacher, and then. And then also at the same time, while we're sitting in this masjid, I saw a powerful light coming in this masjid. And then out I was just imagining, but when I opened my eyes, the light wasn't there. And then I closed my eyes again. The light was so intense. So I thought that was something else. I just that was it, finished.
MashaAllah, this is our Maulana Mustafa Al-Azhari. He studied from Al-Azhar. MashaAllah is beautiful, but one thing I would say that as a friend, I would say next time don't open your eyes to check his imagination. This game we're not playing anymore. Remember, our Ustad have said, just carry on with the flow. That's very important. Jazakallah, thank you. There's a brother here, Brother Talat.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yeah, it was absolutely fascinating experience that first time. We followed everything that Brother Sajid was saying and continued to the final part when we reached Lataif and the final, the colours getting, all the colours going in. And my experience there was that I speeded up there. I don't know how it happened or why it happened, but as soon as we came onto the white light, and it was just going to be white light and the body was going to disappear, at that moment I just experienced 2 circles, absolutely clear, crystal clear, and just a garden on the other side. And it was so crisp. I mean, I've got poor eyesight, and that was very, very crisp. And I felt that would have been the moment for the golden blow, but I missed that because I was still waiting for the next instruction. And then when that came, everything just went dark, and I couldn't get that back. I did follow the rest, but only when you mentioned Kaaba, I had a little bit of an experience there. I felt that, yes, there was the old Kaaba. I felt that I could see that, but it was still very vague, nothing like as clear as what my first experience was right at the beginning there.
So this is your first time?
Yeah.
So that's good, mashallah. So for the first time, again, this will get better and clearer as you practice more. Alhamdulillah. So mashallah.
So in your case, you've witnessed, you saw, and you tasted as well. And you even comparing with your physical eyesight as well. So mashallah, you can tick off one of your objectives already, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah.
You can only get better now, inshallah. May Allah bless you and reward you for this.
Is anybody new wants to mention? First time here? Yeah, please, good. Professor.
Just one point as you receive the mic is this is the time to mention these things. So really everyone's hands should be going up, because when the time is given to say these things, people don't say. But then they want to come afterwards during food and during sleep time, and they want to have one-to-one then, and that's not the correct way to do this. That's more of an injustice, because if you ask the question now, everyone will benefit. But if you ask the question only privately, maybe someone else's time is being taken up, and it will affect other people as well. So these are not the things to be shy about, and the people who are experiencing difficulties, that's the ones that we want to hear. So they're the ones that we want to help you open. So don't be shy to mention it. Think that I'm mentioning it so others can benefit, and for that reason you'll benefit. It becomes a sadaqah jariyah for you as well. Jazakallah, please.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So in the beginning I was actually following all the Lataif, but then I have to move my legs all the time. But then from the green one up until the white one, I went to a different zone. But then when the time of transfer happened, I believe that I did transfer, but then I was trying to find the teacher, but then when you said all the angels are coming, so I had an imagination that is being filled like with white lights, and then Hazrat Saab came, I think, and then he was actually wearing the black, what do you call, like imama on top of, basically he has the chadar. And then when we were struggling to go on the ship, and then somehow I think I managed to go on the top level, and then I imagine that there were like.
Just want to stop you there.
Yes.
Mention your experiences without the word imagination. Or
Ji,
I
okay.
think
Okay.
you're mentioning a lot of detail there.
Ji.
Even if you sit down and think about it, you wouldn't mention. So this
Ji.
is for everybody now. When we talk about the thought imagination, as to how, with the understanding, with the feedback now,
Ji.
I want you to mention what you're mentioning without the words of imagination or
Ji.
think.
Okay, so I saw like there were like chairs lined up, and we all sat on the chair on the top level, and Hazrat was basically he was standing in the front. He was standing, and then when we went to the Kaaba Sharif, when you mentioned that we were on the physical Kaaba on the earth, then I saw that Hazrat actually went and kissed, and then I went behind him and also kissed and also did the tawaf. Before that, I forgot to mention that when we actually entered the mazar of Sheikh Abdul Aziz Dabak, I saw that not his physical appearance, but it's like a white light, and people were just lining up, and he was actually kissing their forehead, and then they were just on the line, and then they got the kiss on their forehead, and Hazrat was standing on his left hand side. And then regarding the Kaaba, when we went into the Kaaba of the heavens, and Ustaz Sajid, he mentioned that the stone is not black. So in my mind, it came something white or pearl color. And then right away he said that it's like white color or pearl color, the Kaaba on the heavens. And then I remember that actually kissed and then do the tawaf, came back and prayed behind Muqam Ibrahim. So it was like on and off.
So mashallah, again a very good experience you've had. Only thing is, inshallah, I would say as you become more well versed in terms of the processes, either the different colors and then the final one, and then the getting ready for the golden breath and the spiritual body, more you become expert or experienced at it, more regular, then this becomes easy. Then the process becomes natural then. Then what you're saying that I forgot, I think I was there, and then moved here and then came back. Then this irons out slowly, naturally, automatically. So you don't have to worry that aspect. More it's like I said, more you practice, better you get. And the other aspect, mashallah, you've already experienced. So you just continue like this in the sessions and in your private times as well, and you will only get better, inshallah, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah. Yeah, we'll have one more, inshallah, and then now we're going to make this next section now as problem section. So only those who have any difficulties, issues, darkness, nothing, I can see nothingness, all this we want to hear now. After.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Yeah, during the Lataif, the colors, they were a bit more clear to me. I can see the colors, and after the transfer, I just imagined everything that brothers.
Again, I think you should take the Ustaz Sajid's advice. We don't want to hear the word imagination. You'll get like a -1 next time he says.
Yeah, so whatever he was mentioning, that I was just following where.
So again, with yourself, I know we've interacted before. That I think you need to have more confidence within yourself. Remember, like our teacher was saying, that it is not that we're doing this journey because of our capabilities or abilities. We're relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah ta'ala wills and permits and allow this to happen, it happens. Because sometimes they think that I am doing this or I have to do this. And they said, how can I do this? I don't know this, I don't know that, I don't have the capability. So don't rely on our own self, rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and just go and carry on with the flow. And you'll find that many of these burden people have, or from like you were saying, is lifted. You're not worried about all these other things. Am I doing it right or not? Because you're relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah.
Just for one thing for Brother Kumar. So sometimes for everyone, the white latifa is the latifa which connects one with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the divine. So, but for the white latifa to be connected with Allah Azza wa Jal, some things need to be done in this world, and even all the other lataif could be clean. The all latifa, we've not been through this yet, but they all do something for you. They all purify and cleanse. They all have a specific role for different things within your life. But the white latifa, it connects you with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and sometimes that is disconnected. So there is a way, even if all the others are cleansed, you can transfer and see things spiritually, but one is not connected with Allah Azza wa Jal. So the question is, how do you then connect? And there are ways in this world. Amongst them, munajat is one, and we've seen that speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the heart. Muraqabah dua is, and there are other ways as well. So even in the muraqabah dua you do this, but you should speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about everything. Tell Him everything. And so in this second stage, mind level, it's mentioned that with every act of dunya that you do, not the deen ones, because deen you're already in remembrance of Allah, but in dunya, every act of dunya that you do, speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about what you're doing first. And what you're doing there is like your friend is with you everywhere you go. Your friend is with you at all times. The more you talk to your friend, the more the relationship develops. Think about who your best friend is in the world, and that best friend, you most likely speak to them the most often. That's why they're your best friend. So one solution for you now to have that connection is to develop the relationship, the intimacy with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and start speaking to Him daily, regularly. Within every 10 minutes there should be one communication minimum with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Within every 10 minutes, really more. And then the white Latifa will be connected, inshallah, and more. There'll be much more benefit in many ways. So, yes, now obstacles.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. This was my first time, and I had difficulty imagining the colors, while we were trying to cleanse. They weren't very clear, but I still followed with the process, and I believe I managed to go in a spiritual body. But then I would sort of feel pain in my leg, and that would be like, am I there, am I here, where am I? Because if I'm there, then why am I feeling this? But then I sort of followed with that. We went to all the places. The pictures weren't very vivid. It was just more sort of thoughts, but I could imagine some parts more than the others. But then towards the end, as we were being helped on the camels, from here on it was quite vivid. Just the fact that Hazrat Sahab grabbed my hand and helped me on, and from there he had my hand all the way, and while we were doing the tawaf, he was holding my hand, and then when we were sort of looking at the Kaaba Sharif, everyone went to the well of Zamzam. I was still there at the Kaaba Sharif. I was just captivated. I wanted to move, but I couldn't. I was there, and then Hazrat Sahab was giving them water, but then he came back, grabbed my hand and fetched me, and then took me there as well. So, but the experience with Hazrat Sahab, only that was quite vivid. Everything in the background was quite vague and quite sort of, it was more like you seeing something through frosted glass sort of thing. So, yeah.
Is this your first time? Or? Yes. So, mashallah, it's a very strong experience, even though the Lataifs were vivid to begin with. And as we mentioned in the theory, the teacher's responsibility of giving you spiritual help, you've experienced that. In regards to the objective, you've achieved seeing and tasting. Now your part is to learn the methodology, practice it, and that way you'll be able to be the one that can help others sit on the camel, inshallah. So in regards to the objectives, you should take a lot of positive from this and increase the level of your key to want to do the methodology, learn it, and then help others, like you've seen the help from the teacher in the spiritual world. So that's very positive. There's a lot of lessons that you can take from there personally, particularly the help the teacher has given you in the spiritual world.
So G, really yourself, obviously it's your first time, so one thing is about learning it first, the different colors, and getting used to. That's the one thing. And so also, like Ustad Usman has mentioned, there's sometimes a spiritual meaning behind it as well. So maybe, inshallah, in the course of it, if you see one of us, then I advise you, there's a reason probably why you've seen in a different shade rather than the actual colors. Is that what you said, isn't it? not the actual colors. You show different type of colors.
Having difficulty matching the colors. There was and even through the experience, the name of Allah Ta'ala sometimes disappeared.
So this is addressed with the connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in terms of how you connect and so on, and other aspects. I'm not going into that detail because time doesn't allow that. But the second aspect is correctly as Ustad Sajid said, is that because you're in a quality journey, so this was, you had the experience as like a borrowed journey. You were with someone who carried you to that journey. In this case, this Hadrat Sahib and so on. So as I could say, as a sightseeing, maybe let's say we never go to certain places in the world or country. Now we know our caravan, our coach is going, and they say, come on, let's go. You don't have to pay anything, just come on. Just sit there and enjoy the ride. And you sit there, enjoy the ride, you see many sightseeing, and let's say you go to somewhere like in Cornwall or somewhere like that, which you would never go, or you don't have the ability to go that far. And you go there, see everything there, the seaside and all the animals and everything else, come back. So really, you'll be thanking the coach driver or the person in charge that, you enable me to go to the journey with you, and I saw many things that came back. Now, the real target would be, inshallah, for yourselves is to learn these Lataif and so on. And also most important is the preconditions that's required so that you can better your journey in this path as well. And then, inshallah, you can have your own journey along with the teacher, help with the teaching, inshallah, as well. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. Actually, my is a totally different experience. My screen was coming on and off. When he started, I see the color very clear. Then when he mentioned the angels, I see the lot of lights coming. And when he was telling me the teacher is coming, I didn't see the teacher. Instead teacher, I saw one big screen where is written Muhammad bin Abdullah. Yeah. After that, I didn't see anything.
So mashallah, so what that tells you is that you know and have firm belief that the Holy Prophet ﷺ is the ultimate teacher. One of his blessed names is Al-Mu'allim, which means the teacher. But the teacher needs to be a person that, you see, if you read a book, the book cannot tell you you've misunderstood. You read a book now, the book cannot tell you that you've misunderstood me. Even if you read the Holy Quran, if you read it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran that there are some who read this book and they become guided, and there are some who read this book and they become misguided. Because the Quran cannot tell you you've misunderstood me. You need a teacher, physical teacher living, to be able to tell you, repeat it back to me, your understanding, and then I will tell you if you've understood or misunderstood. So you need to have a living teacher that takes you to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. So you know that the Holy Prophet ﷺ is your ultimate teacher, but now you need the person, the representative, to take you there. And so, mashallah, that's the next step, inshallah, for you.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. I know the brother still wants to mention certain things, but obviously there are time constraints as well. First of all, I should be very thankful to Allah Jalla Majduhu that normally what many of you have people attain after months and months and months. And even I was not expecting that many of you will attain in the first session, because people are just getting used to learning theory and order and thoughts. And many of the things which we heard, we are expected to attain maybe on Tuesday morning, meaning actually, well, this is your first session, many of you have said, and then actually the last. So this is not from our part anything, but the fadl of Allah Jalla Majduhu, the mercy of the Prophet al-Islam and the barakah of the mashayikh of this path, namely Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Dabbagh, Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jalani, Sayyidina Imam Hussain, radiallahu anhu, Sayyidina Ali, karramallahu wajhul kareem, many other companions and Ahlul Bayt and Awliya and Salihin. But we want everyone who is here to get to this level. Not only it's good for some people to have, alhamdulillah it is. Further they can advance more up to the meeting of the Prophet ﷺ. Once you are in that world, then it's just a matter of time, days and weeks. One can go towards Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's a different muraqabah. This is for your connection with the barzakh and the spiritual world, and muraqabah Muhammadiyah, which is one of the 4 things you will be taught, that is to go close to the Prophet ﷺ. That's what that will happen as well, inshallah. So firstly, you should be thankful, and you can ask the people who have any affiliation with khalawats and you may say exclusions. They spend 40 days, 60 days, months and months, but not raising to that level. Well, alhamdulillah, you are doing well, and I just wanted to mention other things. The teachers are, alhamdulillah, doing very well, and that there are certain blockages. It's not my habit. Our mother, Sayyida Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu anha, says that when the Prophet al-Islam learned about someone, he has done something wrong or anything, he would not mention them by name or individually point out, oh, you have done this. No, she said he would mention in general terms, that actually, general terms, oh, what people are doing, etc., etc. So here many of you have been doing this before, from 1 month, 2 months, many may have been coming from years. We are more interested, obviously, if you are having any problem, but mainly the new people or people who have not started this spiritual journey or have not got the Ainul Yaqeen, Haqqul Yaqeen. We are more interested for those people who have before, alhamdulillah, as the Ustaz said, that if you have a blessing, then be steadfast on the path and share it with someone. Meaning, pass the message on so that more and more people are saved. And when you save more and more people, you are alleviating the pain from the heart of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, I will just mention generally, individually I would like not to mention, but if you want, then from Ustad Usman can mention specifically, point you out individually, this is about you, from amongst them, he knows. But I personally do not like actually pinpointing people, but sometimes you have to, in order to show them that this thing is blocking them. So I'm not pointing at anyone. He knows as well. He knows specifically, but I will mention generally what type of issues some people are blocking. Number 1, someone is being blocked because of their seeing pornography in privacy. Some people outwardly they are looking here and there, but some people they don't look outside or in public. But when they are alone, they have somehow this bad habit, or you may say just a matter of interest, or even though they're not too much addicted, but it's just like a social entertainment, but it's not good. It will block you, meaning the darkness will enter. And someone has that. If they want to be pinpointed, as I said, he can do after, if still you are struggling. Another one, specifically, a person, he's speaking harshly with his wife and treating her like a slave at home, but he seemed to be very pious in front of the community. So this is also a person sitting amongst you. And as I said, by name, by face, you can be identified. But this is just for your benefit, that you correct yourself so that you can advance. So someone who, by slave, like actually means that she has to do whatever you say all the time, and as though she doesn't have any right. She's ill or she is well or she's not well. Treating like slave, basically just serving you. She's not slave. She's an amana. And the Prophet ﷺ said, the best amongst you is the one who is the best. So you can't be the best. If you are not liked by Allah and His Messenger, why would they give you access to any spirit? तो ये कोई बंदा अपनी बीवी को गुलाम की तरह रवैया इख्तियार कर रहा है और हमारे सामने, वो लोगों के सामने बड़ा नेक बना हुआ है. तो ये है, ये मसला है. Another one, third one, has problem with illicit relationship. Illicit relationship basically means extramarital relationship. जैसे लड़कियों के साथ बातें करना खामखा और उनके साथ गलत तल्लक़ात रखना, to have some kind of bad physical or some other. So these things also bring darkness actually. Another one have a love of dunya, money and work excessively, even though they are trying to get out of it, but it keeps sucking them in back in this dunya. So they know they are not right, so they are excessive. They are type of a person who I said, how many days you work? He said, there's no 8th one, I work 7th day. So they have pursuing their meaning, objective as money or dunya, love of dunya. So excessively, when you do excessively, this means you will neglect the rights of people and the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you are just behaving like a machine. So a person should have balance in life, because if you spend too much time in something, this means you are violating the right of someone who you should have given time to. Very quickly, number 5, there is another person amongst you. One person had their own face at the point of green latifa. So you are going through the green latifa, their face could be seen. This showed that they were their own center of their heart, not Allah, not the Prophet ﷺ, and not the Mashayikh. So some people have made themselves the centers of their life. They are self-centered, self-opinionated. और सबसे बड़ा कई लोगों का मसला ये है कि उन्होंने अपनी ख्वाहिशात और अपने आप को सबसे अहमियत दी हुई है. Not top should be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then the Prophet ﷺ, then the pious, and etc. etc. कई लोगों ने अपने आप को वही वो मेरी मर्जी चले, बस अल्लाह के हुक्म आए तो वो उसके खिलाफ वर्जी कर देते हैं. नबी अलैहि सुन्नत है कोई नहीं कहते, कोई नहीं खैर ही. मशाइख ये फरमा रहे हैं, awliya are saying this, okay, we like them anyway, but I'll do whatever I like. So this type of, तो किसी के लिए तो until you don't put these things in center, so inshallah you will have more access. Another one has an extreme anger issue. This person has blockages in all his lataif because of his imbalance caused by the extreme anger. You see, anger by itself is not a very bad thing. It's an energy. It's a raw energy. You can use it for your betterment. You can use it for against shaitan. But the problem only is people channelize it towards the wrong thing. गुस्सा में मसला नहीं है, बंदे में मसला है. Problem is not with the anger. If the anger was the problem, the Prophet ﷺ would have never become it. And it is said when he was angry, his face could have been seen, it's like red. So the problem is not with the anger, but where you direct and channelize the anger. Like some people you hear, I'm finding someone to fight with. I'm finding someone. It's good I didn't see anyone because I was looking to have argument with someone. So these are the type of people who are directing it toward the wrong places. Because if they find, they are going to just to create chaos for themselves. So you can direct it towards positively, towards making yourself, building yourself up, self-development, or if you want to use against anyone, shaitan, bad habits, bad friends, your laziness, The energy is there and it can treat it. Anyway, someone has this, they can see the one of the ustad if they want. Another one is a knowledgeable person, but he judges other based on his specialist knowledge, which should only be used for his own benefit and benefiting others, not judging them. So they agree in Latifa is well. So sometimes, so someone has, but they judge people, meaning actually based upon their specialist knowledge. So knowledge is not to put others down. Knowledge is there to lift up others. So knowledge is not to put people down, but knowledge is there beneficial. Knowledge to, तो इल्म का मकसद ये नहीं दूसरों को नीचे दिखाना, वो नीचे करना. इल्म असल वही है कि वो दूसरों का हाथ पकड़ के उनको उठाना. Another one, there is an elderly man who backbites his children. उसका कोई मसला और नहीं है. जैसे बूढ़े लोगों की, बड़े लोगों की आदत होती है. That he is not backbiting others, but his children, बच्चे होंगे, बहुएं होंगी, ये so useless. Maybe they are not aware that this is a ghibbat as well. ghibbat अपने बच्चों की करें तो वो भी ghibbat है, दूसरों की करें. If you do ghibbat, actually, it's a ghibbat actually in places. So this. Another person is trying hard to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala but cannot go of unlawful matters in wealth like interest and fraud, and so their orange latifa is blocked. So there is another person who is trying to reach. Everyone, mashallah, wants to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they are trying to, but only one thing is holding them, is the unlawful money through interest, fraud, whatever. Another one, very quickly, that wants to remain hidden though his teacher would like him to help others. ये शर्मीले, एक है शैतानी शर्म, एक है मुहम्मदी हया. So we should have Muhammadan modesty, not shaitanic type of modesty. Shaitanic modesty is like he said, oh Allah, I am shy to bow down in front of Adam alayhi salam. I want to bow down to you. So when the teacher wants you to share, to help others, then if you say, I am shy, मुझे शर्म आती है, मैं तो आप छुपता रहेगा बंदा, तो वो अच्छी बात नहीं है. So his lataif are clean, but his mind is blocked. He has the wrong understanding of humbleness. उसका मसला है, वो समझा हुआ है, he thinks humbleness, humility somehow means that, just stay in a corner. Humbleness means that you admit what shortcoming you have, and whatever goodness you have, attribute it to Allah, and shortcomings to yourself. ये humbleness तो ये होती है. Humility, humbleness. तवाज़ो का मतलब ये नहीं मैं कुछ नहीं. तवाज़ो क्या कि अपनी गलतियाँ, ऐब सामने माने मेरे हैं, और जो खूबियाँ हैं बंदे में वो अल्लाह की तरफ निस्बत कर कि वो अल्लाह ने अता की हैं, वो अल्लाह पाक का इस वो रहते हैं. Another one, also one knowledgeable person who has some knowledge that wants to see, to compete and be equal or better than his peers. Not seeing is better for him than to see until his intention changes. So you're not competing against anyone, because everyone has their own, like everyone has their own room signed to them. They don't need to fight over their own rooms. Everyone has there's enough place in paradise, and there will be still empty space left. So why you do need to compete with others, negatively especially. If you want to compete positively. So one should not compete, but compete. If you have this sense of competition, compete with shaitan, compete with evil, and compete with these things. Another one that has the Lataif cleansed, but the white is not connected to the divine. So as you know, the top one is like aerial. Like your phone has an aerial, radio have an aerial. This top white one is an aerial which has a connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and which earlier on you were mentioning. Another one is that he does lots of zikrs and azkar and awrad and focuses on the words, but not on the meaning of the words, and also he's harsh with the family. Always these things sometimes most commonly faced. That they're doing azkar, dhikr, awrad by word, but they're not focusing. Like I'm saying, they're reading Durood Sharif. But what type of Durood is that when the name of the Prophet ﷺ come, they don't think about the Prophet ﷺ. So what kind of Durood is he doing? Who is he doing Durood on them? When he's not even thinking of the one who he is supposed to send blessing them. You want to send a gift to someone, but you don't know who it is. Anonymous gift. तो वो किस किस्म के गिफ्ट है, मैं पता ही नहीं है किसके भेजना है, किसको मैसेज भेजना है. So this is also one amongst us. Another one has vain eyes, looking at matters which are not of no benefit. It's wasted by time is wasted by him, which should be used. It's like people not doing any sinful activity with the eyes, but vain meaning useless, just looking vainly to the dunya, TV for the sake of just passing time, internet for the passing time. So these are, and then others as well. As I said, to the last days, if you will want, then you can repent. But it's better that you, like generally it is said, you, alhamdulillah, repent like you were given this guidance, then ask forgiveness from people, phone them or text message them, correct your heart and mind at least for these days. And alhamdulillah, by the fadl of Allah, by the morning of Tuesday, the night of Monday, alhamdulillah, so you also achieve. So inshallah, more maybe people want to give feedback, but obviously you have to have some rest and sleep as well. So now this time is 1:45. It will be difficult for you to now have another session at 3 o'clock as you have. So maybe we'll just change that to, so after Fajr they can have a session and this, and then the other things can follow. So ye kuch aram kar lenge. But alhamdulillah, if person next to me can achieve, why I can't achieve? ये जो पहली दफ़ा आया है बंदा, first time तो ये इसने कुछ किया है, meaning it's all connection. Once it's like a phone, if you have reception and connection, you can call any country, any person, any. Once you are connected to the barzakh and the spiritual world, it's just a matter of time or your skill to reach anywhere, to any realm, and then there are worlds hereafter. Well, alhamdulillah, as you have seen, it is possible, not only possible that even in one session, because all you have been learning is not the spiritual ascension, but about the path to Allah and obstacles and theory and this theory. This is the actual thing which I've done, and it takes weeks and months for people to achieve. So alhamdulillah, you have done well, but at these 13, 14 things which I've mentioned, if we introspect and try to release this old dirty baggage, so alhamdulillah, next session you will do more. And after you will, that's the purpose of this retreat, to have ilmul yaqeen and haqqul yaqeen to reach, and also coming closer to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then there are other higher levels which can be attained further as well. So if there's any question for me, you can ask, otherwise then inshallah you may thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for 2 rakat thankfulness. tahajjud ka bhi ho jayega aur phir aram kar leं fajr se pehle.
Just quickly put your hand up, please, if you have any quick questions or anything to ask before we conclude.
Jazakallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.